So we're about to get this meeting started. And I would say good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our 5,607th meeting of the Rotary Club of Chicago. Good afternoon, and here we ring the bell. Well, I would like to thank all of you, our members who haven't been here in a long time. We have Khaled, we have Jody Santeford, we have guests also that are here. So we're very happy that you are joining us on this meeting where you will find out all what we do at our club because we're having one of our quarterly assemblies. Well, the theme for today's assembly is the theme of our Rotary year, which is Serve to Change Lives. And in addition to looking at the work that Rotary One is doing to change lives, we're also going to hear from very special guests that will tell us how Rotary and other partners are working to support the refugees from Ukraine and those who are not able to leave Ukraine. Together, we serve to change lives. But in this particular circumstance, we're in the middle of a horrible war. And we can say as Rotarians that we are serving also to save lives. First, in the program, I would like to introduce Rotary International Director-elect Pat Meriwether, who is going to tell us about what our district and other districts are doing in getting involved with the Disaster Relief Fund. So, and then after that, our PE TIMO has invited representatives from the wonderful organization in Germany, Helping Hands, who are with us today on Zoom, along with other folks of the Rotary International Germany, Austria, US Inter-Country Committee. So this is going to be an exciting afternoon for everybody. And as you know, after our speakers make their remarks, we will proceed to update you on the work of the different committees of the club. So we have a really packed schedule today. And as we usually do, after our speakers make their remarks, I would like to, we can ask the questions, and those of you who are on Zoom can write the questions in the chat, and hopefully we're going to be able to share them. As I said, we have a packed schedule today. So it is my honor to introduce to you our dear friend, Pat Meriwether, who is from our district, 6440. Pat is a member of the Rotary Club of Naperville and is a Rotary International Director-elect of Rotary. So she's a member, an incoming member of the Board of Directors of Rotary. So Pat, go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and welcome everyone to the Rotary Club of Chicago. It's an exciting time to be in Chicago, and of course, a spring upon us. But the real challenge we have right now is we have a large Ukrainian community in Chicago, the Ukrainian village. And they have been working just tirelessly around the clock, providing support and services to people in Ukraine, as well as people coming from Ukraine and the Ukrainian refugees as well. So Marga and I were brainstorming one day and we said, what can we be doing? And we know that some supplies, especially medical supplies, no longer are available in Ukraine because they've been dried up, they've been utilized. And we also know that the medical supplies that are needed are not the typical medical supplies that we would have just hanging around or being in a hospital setting or a medical setting. And these are emergency medical supplies. So Marga heard about a group called UMANA, which is Ukraine Medical Association of North America, and that they were starting to collect medical supplies. It started out with Dr. Elena Gordon and her husband collecting medical supplies in their garage. And after about 2 days, after 2 big trucks pulled up with medical supplies, they said, we need a warehouse. We need to change what we're doing. So they moved it to a warehouse right outside of O'Hare Airport. And the warehouse is amazing. They have over 360 pallets of medical supplies and goods that will be going to Ukraine. And they are all cataloged. They're all detailed. Every pallet, every box, the contents are all known, and they're ready for shipping. And it's amazing the number of people that come every week and do volunteer work. The last weekend we were there, Mark and I, there were over 100 volunteers, all working to get everything ready. And they organize based upon emergency supplies, hospitals, and surgical supplies. The emergency supplies, they started out asking for a few tourniquets. Now the request from Ukraine is they need 100,000 tourniquets, because people, again, if you can't stop the bleeding, people will die. And so again, 100,000, that means 1 out of 40 they expect to be affected by some injury that requires a tourniquet. So we started putting our heads together, and before we knew it, there are now 18 districts that are working together on this. They applied for disaster grants. We're pulling our dollars together. And so we'll be able to not only do shipping, but also to provide necessary medical medications and some medical supplies. I can't tell you how it's so important that we provide those services, because every time you provide a kit, a tourniquet, blood clotting gauze, it's saving a life. And it's just remarkable what is being done. We're working with so many districts overseas, so many Rotarians in different countries, as well as also they're working with the Ukraine Ministry of Health. So we know that anything we send will get into the right hands, into the hands that need it. And we've had conversations with a physician that's working in Ukraine, and driving home one night, there were no cars on the road except for hers. And she had just completed her last surgery. She's an OB-GYN oncologist, and she had to change what she was doing because now all she does is surgery on the wounded. So again, I just have to say it's a tremendous initiative, and Rotary is shining through with its support, and also support of the Ukrainian people, and just our collaborative type of approach to working with others. So again, kudos to Marga too. She's there right away. The late night calls, and also all of the conversations to get this initiative going, and you know, getting the right equipment to the people that need it. So thank you all for your participation. And again, it's just a wonderful opportunity to help so many people in need, and you know, and everyone's working in a peaceful way, which is what we need right now. Thank you.
Pat, thank you so much. And also, we introduced the director of Humana in Chicago, and her husband, who's a corporate person, totally dedicated now to manage this incredible warehouse. We're talking about 60 to 80 tons of medical supplies, valued in the tens of millions of dollars, and everything has been donated to Humana. So, you know, we introduced them to the work that the Rotarians are doing in Ukraine. And Pat, I don't know if I told you, but after we finished the Zoom talk at the warehouse on Saturday, they sent a text message saying, we would like to join Rotary. So whenever they can have a breathing time, this couple that they're amazing, we're going to bring them over to introduce them to you. But now I would like to have our president-elect Timo Rybak introduce this wonderful organization he brought to our club. Timo.
Thank you, Marga. Welcome everybody in the room. Good afternoon. Welcome everybody online. Moin moin to the Germans on there. Good to see y'all. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce an organization, not-for-profit, out of northern Germany called Helping Hands. It is in a tiny village. It is housed, and you will see this in a second, in a former warehouse facility, and it's a volunteer organization. And Marcus Fanning, who I'll introduce here now, is the chairman of the organization. He'll present a little bit. Marcus, you want to start sharing your screen? It is a wonderful organization out there. They support a bunch of Eastern countries. And I know that the Rotary Club in my own home village was just there the other week. So we have a long-standing Rotary connection. And Marcus, kick it off. And I will support you if there are any language issues.
So my name is Markus Feening. I'm in normal life. I work in a paper mill here, and I'm married with 2 children, and yes, with 2 boys. So Helping Hands makes humanitarian help. Is founded 1997. Has 40 members, and one of our project is the boxes present in shoe boxes. We start with that in 2018, and we collect over 80,000 boxes with presents for children and older people. So last year we have made transports to the areas of Moldavian, Romania, Ukraine, and Slovakia with 27 trucks. And in 2013, we have get a medal. How is it in English? That Medal of Merit. Yes, for Hansi Brake.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So then, what makes us different? We work hand in hand with firms and associations from the Emsland region. We promote intercultural exchange. We are very flexible when our partner organizations in Moldavian or Romanian needs things from us, maybe firefighter equipment or ambulance cars or so on. So then when we collect the donations, we make it very with some strawberry parties or potato parties, whatever. So we work 100% voluntarily, and our direct aid, every single euro goes to the humanitarian causes. So now with the Ukraine war, we make a campaign through our contacts in Eastern Europe. We were able to figure out directly how help can be provided to the people in the Ukraine. So we started an AIDS campaign. We communicated a list of things that we are needed per Facebook and per the newspaper. And in a very short time, private families, companies, and associations have agreed to open a collection point for us. A lot of associations. And we have done in 2 weeks with the most important goods to the Ukraine, into the Ukraine, also to the war zone with a partner organization. They with medical stuff, with food, with Pampers and so on. Many individual associations and groups from companies help us with the packaging and loading. Before last week, there were over 30 people every day from 10 to 8 o'clock in the evening, from 10 in the morning to 8 in the evening. They help us to load the trucks and packaging. So we're working hand in hand with our partner organizations. We can always respond to the most current needs. We constantly adapt to the current needs. So this is the truck when he leaves helping hands in Laden. It's full. This is bread, what we donated. Here are Pampers. And then 2 days later, it's unload in Radauti in Romanian, close to the Ukraine border. And from there, it's going into the Ukraine. So that's some pictures from our store, and also the second truck with hospital beds and clothing. Yeah. So our short-term goal, we need a new van to collect the goods from hospitals and from private people. So on our vision, that we want to build a warehouse in Romania close to the European border. This should be, this should be located in such a way that areas in Moldavia, Romania, Ukraine, and Slovakia can be reached from there. In the loading term, a social institution can be linked to it. This means that connect persons are always on the site and help can be provided directly. So, and yeah, that's it. That's me. This is a picture from our from a donations collection party.
Yeah, Marcus, let me make that ask. Go back one slide. Go back one slide. Some of you have emailed and said, look, gas prices are going through the roof. All these things, hospital beds, medical equipment, clothing, shoes, is being donated by private citizens, hospitals, stuff when, organizations upgrade their equipment, the used stuff goes to them and it's their job to ship it. The trucks that you've seen are private businesses donating the truck. The one thing where there's cost is gas, diesel, right? So Marcus, put this slide back up with the bank account. So my ask on behalf of the organization, on behalf of Marcus, is that each one of us puts a little bit of money into their pocket so the trucks actually get there. They have been inundated with equipment and materials. It just has to go from A to B, and that costs money. I know that for those who I haven't asked, I've asked some. There's $500 coming from me, and I'm leaning on some of you. You know who those are. And then for those who want to support it, come see me. I will either send them a check or wire it. We can figure this out. And there's the ask into the Zoom community here as well. Take a look at this. We can put the bank account information in the chat so you can copy it over. Otherwise, just email them or send them a check via mail.
Yes.
All right. Any questions for Marcus? Yes, sir. Hold on. There's a mic right behind you.
It's really a question, I think, for you. If someone is not a check writer, is there a way to Zelle
Yes.
money?
Why don't we do it this way? I know how to wire internationally. If you want to Zelle or what's the other thing, Venmo, the money to me, fine. And I'll make sure it gets into their bank account.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody online with questions for Marcus?
Thank you much.
All right, Marcus, thank you so much for being here. You're here, okay?
Thank you for your invitation, Timo. Yeah.
Of course. Hold on. Oh, yeah, Margaret has a question. One more question for you. Yes.
Marcus, yes, I would like to know, do you have local contacts in Ukraine? Or are these goods going to be distributed for the refugees across the border, or you're bringing things into Ukraine?
We have local contacts close to the border in Romania and in Moldavia. And we have contacts also in the Ukraine, yes. Yeah. Didn't drive to the Ukraine, we drive to the border and load them in the new truck. And from there, we drive into the Ukraine.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Right. Thanks very much. Have a great evening, Marcus. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you in Latin soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah. Have a nice evening. Nice afternoon. Yes.
Yeah, suggestion that the donation for easier and quick comes to the Rotary Club, and whoever sends it in can be. This way, people can connect right now. Right, don't have a Zelle or a checkbook. They can always. That's fine. They can commit with them and then have it done. No, we're not doing it.
Well, we can discuss the details, but yes, we're supporting this organization. It is, of course, very important. And so, Marcos, thank you again for your presentation. Now, we have other ways that Rotary is supporting the refugees. Perhaps you read in the Gyrator in today's edition. If not, you can read it this evening. But there's a story of a Rotaractor and her family that they were driving from Ukraine across the border at the very beginning of the war, or probably the day before it started. And while she was driving, her name is Irina, she started texting her fellow Rotaractors in Europe. Well, this by 2 days after the war, the war started on a Thursday, by Sunday, the Rotaractors had set up bank accounts coordinated at bringing aid to the refugees that were crossing the border, offering them place. By Saturday, they already had 300 homes where they could stay, offered by Rotaractors and their families. So, and as well, all the border countries, all the districts in the border countries have mobilized to welcome the hundreds of thousands of refugees that are coming through, offering them assistance with, food, medication, place to stay, possibly jobs. So the organization is, Rotary is amazing. I guess we all know that. So a lot of it is happening, new ideas are coming up for help and new needs as well. So, we'll keep you posted of what we find out. Also, I invite you to go to my Rotary, and you can read a lot more of what is happening in each country. So, okay. Well, Pat, if you're still, yes, thank you again for telling us what is happening with our district and many other districts. But, in the 2 weeks after the war started, this fund that was created, like disaster relief fund by Rotary International, by 2 weeks, we had over $2 million, and in that fund, there's more than $3 million now. And districts all over the world can apply for $25,000 grants. It doesn't mean that we have to go and fundraise to other clubs or districts. We can draw from this emergency fund to cover costs of whatever is the need. So Pat and I are working on if it is going to be medication, if it is going to be shipping, because things are very, they fluctuate a lot. So, that's we're trying to find manufacturers in Europe that can sell us medication at cost. So, or donate them, as it has been the case here in the United States. These conversations are ongoing. We're throwing links to everywhere we can think of. And then, we have Pat, you had like 10 or 20 districts that want to participate. 5 districts from Argentina said, we want to apply for these grants, and you let us know what the money is needed for. And these grants, like in the case of the COVID grants, are going to be approved in, minutes. So we're doing a good job, people. So, okay. Now let's talk about our community's activities. And I would like to introduce, let's see who's coming here. As you know, being an assembly, we're going to get an update. And Laura Inns, are you in the call? I would love you to tell us about membership, please. Oh, okay. So, okay. Well, so Laura unfortunately cannot make it. So we're going to move on to, what I can tell you about Laura is that on Thursday we had get together at Cafe Chiao. We have Franklin and Adriana that came. They're both from Venezuela. If you like classical music and you heard about El Sistema, founded by Gustavo Dudamel and Franklin. We had a lovely talk on Thursday, and I'm so happy that you're joining us today. So welcome. And needless to say, we would love to have you as a member of our club. And we have to find out if that piano is tuned, because one of you will be able to use it. Okay, so thank you for joining us again. And we had other members that came, several people that came to the wine tasting event, and at least 5 or 6 of those are interested in joining the club. So the membership committee is going to be busy in the next few weeks. And Laura and, of course, Alita provided the catering for the event, and it was brilliant as usual. So, Alita, again, thank you for for the spread that you offered us. So that is about membership. And then the next committee I would like to introduce is the Community Services Committee. So, Sarah and Wes.
The price.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Sarah Buck, and I am co-chair of the Community Service Committee with Wes. And today we're going to share with you some projects up until this point, and then projects that are still to come. So to give you an overview of our projects to date, we've got projects that include the Still Point Theater Collective, which is an organization that produces original professional plays and provides arts outreach programs to marginalized communities. These communities include adults with developmental disabilities, currently and formerly incarcerated women, as well as senior citizens. We helped to fund the Irvin Foundation Gallery. That was a virtual educational gaming environment, and the funding helped with custom programming and 3D development, the game engine, as well as content development and for internet hosting as well. We contributed to the Thanksgiving meals giveaway, and several of us went out it was very cold, but a very worthwhile event to give out Thanksgiving meals. The Easter Seals event this past December did not happen in person, but we still helped to give gift bags to the children at Easter Seals. Normally this is an in-person event where Rotarians go and read to the children, and we've got Santa Claus and Santa's helper as well, but didn't happen in person this year, but we still put together some gift bags. We have had already 2 rounds of our CPS grants, and there are currently opportunities for volunteers from the first round. So those are listed in the gyrator. So one of them is attending the Simeon cooking contest, and I believe that one is for desserts. So Chuck, maybe that would interest you. We had a spirited discussion at our table about desserts. And then there's 2 other opportunities as well to chaperone a field trip, one to the Lincoln Park Zoo and the other one to the aquarium, and these are pre-kindergartners. And a lot of these little ones have never been outside of their neighborhood. So please, if you're able to sign up, those links are in the gyrator. And just to be clear, the whole field trip goes from 9 to 2, but we understand that's a big chunk of time. So if you can do half, there's a morning half and then an afternoon half, or if you're able to do both, that's great as well. We just completed our second round of CPS grants, so we presented on those a few months ago. And we're also funding the Blues Camp contest winner for the Fernando Jones Blues Camp. Now, the next slide is our projects to come. So the CPS grants round 3, we've already gotten some submissions. I'm very excited. That due date is April 1st. So if you know any CPS teachers, please send that information to them. We are endeavoring a new project in the committee in building little free libraries. And so we have 2 schools who want this. And so I think we're going to need a little bit of help. I'm not sure if we have carpenters on the community service committee, but we've got 2 schools that are very excited and looking forward to us installing these little free libraries. I'm like, great. And then behind the scenes, I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So we'll figure it out. And then I'm going to turn it over to Wes because we are bringing back the dictionary project.
Well, thank you. Some of you have participated in the dictionary project in the past, so you understand what this is about and how it works. The long and the short is you send your name and contact information to the address that's in the gyrator, which is wesw1@me.com. And I will contact you with the names of some schools. Now, if you are a person who's participated in the past and you want to go back to the same schools, wonderful. Just tell me you're interested, tell me what the schools are, and we'll take care of that. Pardon me. The other thing about this is we have, I don't know, just about 1,900 dictionaries in the warehouse. So it's kind of first come, first serve this spring. And the other thing that we want to do is gauge the enthusiasm of the Chicago Public Schools for the project. I contacted 3 principals whom I know from past years, and they all have said, let's continue. So I'm encouraged to think that that's what you will hear. Regardless, let me know if you're interested, and we'll make sure that you get connected with the school. Thank you. Oh, question, Pancho.
I'm sorry.
To who? Probably if we offered, they would take whatever we would give them.
I can give my opinion. You can donate it anywhere, so we have a problem.
Yes. So with this dictionary project, maybe we can loop some of that in, but also with these little free libraries, that might be good as well. Is this a whole set? One or more than one set? Just one set, A to Z.
Some of us are in the city teaching. Not only that, but a few yearbooks as well.
Okay. Yeah, so
It's an enormous space.
right, I understand. That would be an excellent donation. So we'll talk about that and figure out how to work that out. Yeah, thank you. 2 sets. 2 sets. Well, maybe these 2 elementary schools that are interested in these little free libraries, maybe that can be a donation to them as well. Because we'll put a dictionary in the box. For those of you, I don't know if you're unfamiliar, they might see them in their neighborhood. They're very small. They're about like this. We install them into the ground. So maybe those schools that are interested, we can donate those encyclopedias as well.
Put something in the gyrator, maybe.
Yeah, maybe we'll get many more sets if we put it in a gyrator. Need a U-Haul. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wes and Sarah. And now we are going to have the report from the International Services Committee with Shada and Betsy.
Well, I kind of feel like I'm doing a boring report each time because our projects haven't changed too much over the last year, but we're making progress on them. I'm really happy to report that yesterday our last Bolivia project moved to the Rotary International to get approved. So now they're going to review it. The next steps are they'll come back to us with some questions, but then we can collect the money from all of the people who have donated and get the equipment purchased. So on the 5 Bolivia projects that we've been doing with Solidarity Bridge to provide equipment, this is the last one. Several of them have had the equipment delivered and is installed. There will be a training session. Solidarity Bridge is their part of their partnering on the project, arranges and finances the medical missions to send people down to train the hospital personnel on how to use the equipment, helps them select clientele that would be appropriate for the equipment, and then helps with the treatment of the patients after the surgeries. So it's a really good project. So there is some delays on a couple of the projects now, and I'm hoping we don't have that on the last project, but supply chain issues do come into account. So those are moving forward. And as long as I'm talking about Solidarity Bridge, at our last Rotary meeting, we agreed to donate $1,000 to Solidarity Bridge, which is located in Evanston, and they're having a gala on April 2nd. If anyone wants to attend, I would highly recommend it. Unfortunately, Wes and I have another commitment, but it's a great event, and they certainly can use the money for their efforts. They're working in Bolivia and Paraguay. I think they've also talked about moving into Peru too, but that hasn't happened yet. The 6th project we've been working on in Bolivia, all of the equipment's installed. The kids are using it. It's for a rehab center for disabled kids. And what they did is they purchased the equipment and did training on Montessori methods for helping these kids move along. That's in operation, and hopefully we'll close it out within the next year once all the reporting gets completed. And then, of course, our big project has been Senegal, the cancer treatment, cervical cancer, thank you, blanking. Cervical cancer treatment is going well. Our report should be filed in April. And I know that Andrew right now is working on getting that report all together. Once we have that, we can tell you more about how it's going currently. So there was also a virtual, unfortunately virtual, project fair in Buenos Aires in the middle of February. And we reviewed a number of the projects and have decided to support 3 of them coming up. One is in Bolivia to install a irrigation system in an area that's having difficulty dealing with water because of the climate change. And as a consequence is losing population, and they're hoping to help keep the kids on the land going forward. The other is in also a project for water is in Chile, and it's just outside of Valparaiso. And it's a project where they're taking very low-tech solutions that have been developed in conjunction with the local university for retaining water or treating it. And by low-tech solutions, it might be building a pit to collect rainwater in and lining it with plastic, or making a rainwater barrel by taking a 2x4s and putting together a frame and putting a plastic bag in it to collect water off the roofs. And they're also working on making sure that the water supply is kept uncontaminated by helping to offer alternative programs to treat the sewage. So it's a neat project. And then the 3rd project we approved is in Argentina, in Rosario, and that is to purchase a machine for vision. How do you call it, Pancho?
It's a technology to
OTC.
Excuse me. Optical coherence tomography.
Thank you. I can't even pronounce the words.
OCT.
Optical coherence tomography.
Thank you.
It's a tomographic technology to measure the thickness of various things, the retina and the arteries and stuff like that.
The hospital that this is going to treats about 30,000 patients a year for vision issues, and 10,000 apparently need the use of this equipment. So it will be very helpful. And it's not only in Rosario, which is it's a town that's nestled in the foot of the Andes, and it serves a fairly large area. So it's a community area. So those are our projects. Yes, Lisa. Oh, okay. Yes. We had been working with Lviv, Ukraine, on a project to create a stem cell cryobank. Unfortunately, that's been put on hold. Wait a minute. There must be an update.
Yes, so last week I spoke with the doctors in Lviv because the cryobank was to store stem cells for cancer patients. Obviously, it's not going to happen now. It is what Dr. Tushnitsky said, it is going to happen right after we win the war. No options. But the facility where the equipment was going to be placed is now a blood bank, and they have received donations from the Red Cross to set up this blood bank that, as you can imagine, it is highly needed because since many hospitals in other parts of Ukraine, they're very limited if they haven't been bombed. So patients are gravitating to Lviv, and the hospitals are bursting through the seams with needs. So, when I spoke with them, they had 30 liters of plasma. So I'm sure that now they have twice as much. So, the population of the city of Lviv almost has doubled in size since the war started. So the needs are critical. So now, thank you very much. Eric has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, you guys sat down too quickly. So 2 questions. I guess the first one is an easy one. For the Solidarity Bridge fundraising event in Evanston, let's make sure that that's in the gyrator and on the calendar if it's not already. And then the other question was about Bolivia. We obviously have a lot of projects down there, and one of the reasons that that was prioritized, amongst other reasons, was that it's somewhat more proximate to the United States. Obviously, any overseas travel was put on hold because of COVID. So I'm curious, are there any trips being planned now to help, to go down and actually help support any of these projects? I think maybe now is the time to start thinking about that.
Well,
The gal that I've been working on with the last project has a bottle of champagne waiting for us, chilled. So whenever.
But Eric and Marshall, we would like to hear the following: that we started discussing travels. I mean, because we were talking about traveling to Bolivia in February 2020. Guess what? The conversation is continuing now. But it's not only us. We have discussed with the 5 first clubs to bring people from the 5 clubs together, most likely to Bolivia, with the goal of developing a long-term relationship that is going to go beyond the first global grant that the 5 clubs are willing to do together. And the country that has been picked of all the countries were proposed for this joint project seems to be Bolivia. So, you're all invited whenever that comes, but, there's a crowd that is going to go there. So, yes.
Yeah. Solidarity Bridge has 2 trips a year usually, and the trips are, I can't remember the dates. One is October, and the other one is, I think, April or something. And they travel regularly. They travel regularly a couple of times a year.
Yes, Solidarity Bridge. And not only that, I mean, we have contributed with the equipment, but what they bring in kind to Bolivia far surpasses, the large amount of money that these 5 projects involved, because they organize and finance the medical missions, but also they send 3 to 4 trucks with supplies. I mean, I'm talking like big container trucks by land to Bolivia. So, it is really such a small organization that the work that they do is really extraordinary. So, all right, we have to move on with the program because I know other people that are going to be speaking have to go back to work. Wes, yes.
This is just a quick question for Betsy, and it is, now that the Bolivia projects are pretty much in form, do we get to see the surface of the dining room table again?
Well, Wes, thank you immensely for your support. We have to give him credit too, right? Okay, so now we have the PR and marketing report, and we have Nitha and Mark, and I think one of you is not going to be present. So, Nitha, are you going to be speaking?
I think I'll talk a little bit about it, Marga.
Wonderful. Okay, so go ahead, please.
Sure. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I'll take literally 2 minutes. I mean, there's not too much to it, but there's 2 parts to marketing that's just exciting. One is just the sheer following that we kind of have, that we've grown over the last year or so. So we're now looking at like 22,000 post reach from just Facebook. So anything we post, we can get 20-something thousand people who get to see it. And we have, almost 6,000 people following us on Facebook. So just anything good that Rotary does, we now have following, that all gets to see it. So it's a big deal, especially since a few years ago, we didn't really have much of a social media presence, but now we have Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, which is good. So now that we're getting a following, we want to make sure we kind of curate what we're posting, right? So the things about that Sarah was talking about, we want to make sure we really advertise that and talk about the good work that we do. All these global grants, we need to talk about that. So we're trying to do that more and more. So the ask here is if anyone has any suggestions on things to post and you think that should be talked about, definitely send it over. But we'll just continue to post more and more about our involvement, about our speakers, and then also just talk a little about the event that we hosted with the membership with Laura. Part of that was through just posting on Facebook and seeing if there was anyone who was interested in an event. So the idea is to get new people to Rotary who might not have seen it before. So I think that was literally 2 minutes, but it all happens behind the scenes. But just know we have, we're making a big leaps and bounds in our social media presence.
Well, I have to be very, very grateful for the work that you and Nita do, because observing the work you were doing for the wine tasting event and all the social media that was involved. They were working Saturdays and Sundays nonstop, and it was not just a few minutes. It was hours. So thank you again, because we think as users, all what we have to do is click a button, but there's something doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So Nita, are you there? Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, thank you. No, I think Mark covered all the details, and appreciated also the collaboration with the membership committee on that event too, at the Cafe Chow. And thanks also, I just wanted to add thank you for the assistance with social media from Milos and Marcos too, for the wine tasting event. And we hope to do more fun events like that. And we're learning, as Mark said too. So please share your updates too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, now Alita, I believe, is not here, but I'm going to speak on her behalf about Job One. For those who are visiting us for the first time, Job One is a program by which we provide a summer internship to juniors and seniors who attend high schools in the Chicago public school system, and that they also live in Chicago. So this is a time of the year where we have several candidates. We're always looking for employers, And it can be any kind of profit or for non-profit organization, for-profit or for non-for-profit organization. So if you have any suggestions, this is a time when, I would like you to approach to us and say, look, I would like to hire one of these kids. You are going to be pleased. They are trained by our Rotarian members in Zoom etiquette, work etiquette, resume writing or CV writing, and anyway, other details. So we need employers. So please, come forward. All right. How are we doing with time? It's 10 after 1. Oh my gosh, this is really good. Now, the time has come to hear about the annual campaign. So, Timo, welcome back to the podium.
Yay, Timo.
Well, friends, I know you're starting to be really tired of seeing me up here because every time I'm up here, I'm asking for money. Annual campaign. Well, you can see it right here. We are basically $16,000 short, and that drives me crazy. 75,000 was what Marga hit last year, and we should at least beat that, right? And if it's only by 5 cents. So $16,000 short. A lot of us have participated here. Some have not. Don't make me find you. Let's make sure we have 100% participation. We have 10 more meetings. So if you have a little bit of a goal and say at every meeting, we chip in just to get there, that'll be great. I'd appreciate that. We've done a fine job so far. We can do a little bit more, and then we'll hit the goal. That's all I've got. All right? Thanks, guys.
Well, the upside of working so hard on the annual fund is that we had a good campaign last year, so you're going to enjoy the fruits of last year's campaign in your year. And as you know, we take very good care of the funds. We're very prudent and have a way to stretch them to the limit. So there's a lot that we can accomplish with these funds. So thank you again. All right. This is time to introduce our guests. So I would like to start with Franklin and Adriana, right? Could you please tell us who you are?
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to meet you all here. I am Adriana Tapanes Hinojosa. Hinojosa hyphenated him. Okay. Well, very simple. I am I was born and grew up in Caracas, Venezuela, from Cuban parents. And I moved to the States in 1990 with this gentleman here. We were already married. We have 3 wonderful grown-up kids. One is an attorney in Texas. The other one is at Yale University, and the other one is at U of I currently. But we have new kids at home that are my parents. I moved them with us. They are in their mid-80s, so we are just now taking care of them. It's a cultural tradition, many times in Latin America and other countries as well. I won't have the same possibility, but it's okay. That's a different culture. So I am a faculty at Harold Washington College, one of the city colleges of Chicago. I've been there since 2004. I teach humanities and music, and I am also very interested in curriculum development. So I have been the chair of curriculum, et cetera, president of faculty council of the 7 colleges 2 years ago, but that's it. Because I'm going to pass them. I'm an opera-trained person and a piano player, but I also have a PhD from Indiana University in literature. And I'm going to pass another person that I have next to me that I think I know pretty well for at least 34 years.
All right, good afternoon. She's my better half, as you noticed already. We met in Venezuela, so I'm from Venezuela too. We emigrated in 1990. I used to play in a symphony orchestra in Venezuela, the Simón Bolívar, was created for Jose Antonio Abreu. If you Google him, he's in there. And I came for a master's degree in music with who was the principal flute in the New York Philharmonic, but I went to study at the University of the Art in Pennsylvania. So we both went there for a master's degree. She did a master's degree in opera and piano accompaniment, and I did my master in flute. Then I got a scholarship in Indiana University, which has a good school of music, and I got a performer diploma there, and then I followed the route for a PhD in literature. So I got a PhD in literature in Spanish and Latin American literature. She's in poetry. I went to Moscow as my first tenure track in Moscow, Idaho, and then, no Russia, Moscow, Idaho. Be careful. Moscow, Idaho. So, and then I think that she didn't like it very well. I mean, beautiful area, beautiful people, but we were in the middle of nowhere. The people were all very nice. So I have a story from there, and maybe later I will share with you. And then, so we decided to get out there, and she said, well, Ned, you go to the Boulder Market. She landed in Chicago State. And I got a visiting there in Chicago State, and also have a friend working for the City College say, hey, you have to come here because you can teach Spanish, you can teach music, you gotta. So I got a full-time job at Daly College, South Chicago. And then I dragged her, hey, you gotta come to City College, you're gonna have the same vacation. I mean, you're gonna like this job there. And then she moved and she got the job in Harold, Washington. To make the story short, then I transferred to Harold, Washington, and now I am the world language department, and she's on the humanities department, but I still teach music and humanities classes, but we are in different floors. So we don't get tired of each other.
Well, isn't this fortuitous that we have that beautiful piano there? We have to find out if it is tuned, right? Yeah, right. Well, thank you so much, Franklin. Thank you for joining us today. Yes, okay. Do we have any other guests? Well, we have Jody Santifer, who's in person here after so long. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, and Sean, you're there, right? Hello there. Nice to see you here as well. Okay. Hello too. All right. So now I would like to introduce to you the guests that we have from, we have 3 minutes left, all right? So I see, well, I would like to thank Pat Meriwether again for joining us today. And we have also Christopher Weisman, and I think was Waldemar Joschko from Germany. Okay, so we're very grateful that you came. I don't know, probably you were with the Intercountry Committee, right? So you're also Rotarians. And then we have somebody who I haven't seen in a while, Derek Kabuyi from Kampala, our director from Kampala. Welcome again.
Thank you so much, Maga. Been a good evening and much love.
All right, and also we have, good to see you, Derek. We have Jessie Bow from the Rotary Club of Oakland. The Rotary Club of Oakland is one of the first 5 clubs that we have been doing things together. As you know, the project with the hygiene kits for the homeless during the pandemic and others that are coming up. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the Christopher Weisman. I'm sorry, Christopher. He is from the Rotary Club of San Francisco, not Germany. Okay. Welcome. Would you like to say hi to us?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me at this great meeting. It's wonderful to hear about all of the good work you're doing.
Great. Well, we'll be in touch in the future as well. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. All right. Well, Sarah has told us about the volunteer opportunities. I think, Shelby, you can upload the slide. So I'm not going to repeat them. We have upcoming committee meetings. March 29th, it is the Job 1 Committee. April 4th, Community Service Committee. April 13th, the International Services Committee. April 14th, 15th, the membership committee, and on the 21st, again, PR and marketing. So join us. That's where the action happens as well. So we would love to have you participate. And also, I'm going to tell you now about the upcoming meetings. We have on the 29th, Doug Knoll, who has led a successful career as a trial lawyer to become a peacemaker. So Doug is an award-winning author, teacher, trainer, and highly experienced mediator. Doug's work carries him through from international work to helping people resolve deep interpersonal and ideological conflicts to training life inmates to be peacemakers and mediators in maximum security prisons. So join us. For sure it's going to be very, very interesting. On April 5th, the first Tuesday of the month, we have an evening meeting, and thank you, Eric, very much for orchestrating the participation of Mara Smith, who is the CEO of Inspiro Tequila. So it is going to be a tequila tasting. You're not just going to hear talking about tequila, you're going to drink it. So, register soon because there's a maximum of 25 participants. Yes, that's right. And the event is going to be held at Timo's office. Register soon if you want to go there. We are going to have as a guest Patricia Vargas from Bolivia. She's the executive director of Solidarity Bridge's sister organization in Bolivia, who is going to give us the latest update on the global grants. It's going to be very short because she will be drinking vodka. Vodka with tequila. I'm sorry. Yeah, with us. So, and now 121. So you know what? Can we all stand up and recite together the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do? Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And with that, the meeting is closed. Thank you so much.